In this video, we will see how to import your dataset into GraphPad Prism and how we can do the principal component analysis task. So click on multiple variables here and click enter or import data into a new table and click create. So once if you click here, you can see a sheet. So I'm going to use this breast cancer dataset which is downloaded from the source which I have shared in the description box. This is the breast cancer data set from Wisconsin's. Okay, so here you can see that you have the data, that is, these are all the column, that is, we can also call it as an attributes. Okay, so simply just select here, click Control Shift and down arrow, so it will just go and select until the last record. Click Control C, okay, and open your GraphPad and click on the title because these are all the title, and click Control V or paste data. So here you can see that your data has been pasted here. Okay, so this is very simple. You can see that the header is appearing here, that is your column name. Okay, so let's see in detail, like if you, this is the thing where if you want to change your data type, okay, you can change the data type. Click here, it is automatically considered that it is an auto continuous. So if you want to change it to some other variable, like if you want to change it to some other data type, you can change it. Okay, so that is possible here. You can see that this is a perimeter, this is auto continuous, because since everything, all the entries, all the records are in decimal points, so it is automatically considering it as an auto continuous. Okay, let's analyze. Okay, click here, analyze, and we are going to do what we are going to do. mm, Principal component analysis. Click here, principal component analysis, and click OK. It will ask you for what, that is, you have to find it for everything, every variables. So click here OK. So it is calculating the principal component analysis, and you can see the result for that. Okay, so this is the principal component analysis for the first attribute and how much confidence level it has. Okay, so you can see here, and this is an eigen values for these things, that is for principal component analysis it has created. And these are the radius, texture, perimeter, area, smoothness, and this is pc1 and pc2. Okay, so so it has automatically showed that what are all the values, that what are all the basic statistics which can be done with the data. Okay, so you can also check that whether you have did the correct statistical measure for this data. Okay, always we will have the doubt, right, whether my data is suitable to find ANOVA test, or my data, with my data I can do the t test, or with my data whether I can do the chi square. So that you can find out here. Here you have an option called interpret. Okay, because you can interpret that whether you have picked up an appropriate test for your data. So click here, it will show you that whether you have picked up an appropriate test or not. Okay, here you can see that was the input data free of categorical variables. Okay, you can see that it is showing, that is for principal component analysis, what are the things you should consider. Okay, if you choose to center, if you chose to center the data, did you have a good reason? And if you choose a method for selecting the components other than the reason, other than the parallel analysis, do you have a strong reason? So all these things you have to check. You can cross check with your data whether you have really chosen the correct test. So this is what basically about the principal component analysis. Okay, and you have the graphs as well. So click here, go to the graph and click on the graph. So you can see that this is a PCA of data 1. So what is the PCA analysis of data 1? And you can click here PCA scores of data 1 and biplot of data 1. Okay, it is automatic, it is understanding that PC1 and PC2 are very important, and based on that it has created the data. So you can change the color. So since it is very only black and white, if you want to change the color to something different, that is a prism light or starry or some other color, so that also you can change it from here. Okay, this is also possible. The thing is, you have to select the right data set, and then simply you can come here and select what type of test you can do it. And if you want to know more about the test, you can also do that. That is also possible here. Okay. And finally, you can right click, and if you want to save it, okay, if you want to save the graph, so you have an option called export. Okay, click here export, and then you can change what type you want, that is a JPG, and what is the resolution you want, because higher resolution, if you are just submitting it for the journal or for the conference or even for your thesis, the resolution should be higher, but it should be very very clear. Okay, so click here 600, and then you can just go and select like what file name you want, that is biplot PC of data 1. So the default location it is picking up is like a Lenovo document, and if you want to change that, you can also change that to anywhere else. Like I'm just changing it to D drive. Click here and let's just save this. Okay, if you want the same options, like always it has to save in the D folder, you can select here, make these options become a default. Okay, that is JPEG, JPG format, and this resolution, RGB color. Okay, it is everything. If you want it as a normal as a default settings, you can leave it as such and click here, make these options default, and then click OK. Now your your plot is here. Okay, your image is here. That simply you can click here and see how your image looks like. It's great, right? Okay, so that is possible. And also, if you want to create a new PowerPoint slide from the selected graph, so you can simply select that these are all the selected graph. Okay, just click control, and you can just select all the graph. Okay, just click control and select all these graph, and then click PowerPoint. So you can see that the PowerPoint has been generating where the graphs are appearing here. Okay, so all the three graphs are here, so you don't want to just go and copy the image and paste it here, so it is automatically created. And even if you want to make it as a word, that is also possible here. You can simply click here word, same. Okay, and any other changes regarding the color, you can do it here, or if you want to resize the graph to the larger, smaller, or anything, you can do it. And if you want to change the variables of x and y axis, that is also possible here. And you can just, that is what I'm just telling, just play around the tool, because you have to just get familiarized with the tool. Like you can see what are all the various changes you can do it, and what are all the miracles you can do it with the tools. Not only I'm talking about the Prism, even if you're downloading a new tool, any other tool or any other programming language, if you are learning, just play around, let's learn the basics, and just understand the basics, and then proceed with implementing your idea and getting some inferences. Okay, so this is what the logic. So I have also showed you like how you can import your own data into the GraphPad Prism and explore it. Okay, so if you want to know about your project information, you can simply click here. If you want to give some experiment ID, notebook ID, experimenter protocol, and if you want to write any notes regarding this, you can also add it here, because that will be helpful for you while writing your article, that is a thesis. Okay, if you want to add more data, you can simply click here and import more data into it. Okay, And even here you can just go ahead with the other data and create the graphs. Okay, and if you want more layouts, so click, you can create more layouts here. So you have various options of layout like a landscape and the portrait, and click here what is the layout you want, and here you can simply go and paste the graph. Okay, so which layout you want, you can select and paste all this graph, and finally you can also make this as a separate image, or you can export this as a separate image or separate ppt or word. Okay, so in the next video I'll show you like how you can learn the concepts from prism itself, like a graphpad prism itself. Thank you, take care, bye bye.